the N-word. We should say it. I mean, lighten up. You know, he wasn't like that. He's like, I went online and saw myself saying, I'm like, God damn, that is bad.
But then somebody made a compilation. I'm me, and I'm watching me, and I'm going, stop saying it. You're not even allowed to say it.
You know, so he turns it around on himself in a way, and I thought, okay, that's cool. You know, I
like the content. I don't like the delivery.
Well, that's because he's yelling all the time.
Yeah.
Like, calm your ass down, man.
I'm right here.
Jesus, that's why your nipples are lactating, because you took some cocaine back there or something.
You have a microphone. We can hear you.
Yes. He is screaming so hard, he's squeezing dairy through his nipples, man. So everyone is on Joe Rogan's ass right now, man. You know, with this new special that he has out, Burn the Boats. And some people are saying, now this is a comedy special, but some people are saying, man, the memes are funnier than the show. They got him out, man. And I ain't gonna lie, these memes are funny.
They have him as a minion.
No, that should be one.
Yeah, he's wearing a big yellow shirt.
But they got him as some other things. You remember that character, Kailu, whatever?
Oh, yeah, Caillou, yeah.
Caillou, they got him as Caillou out there. I see it. I see it.
Yeah, you totally see it.
Man, this is my favorite one, though. This one nailed it right here. Arthur.
And I say, hey, the wonderful kind of day.
Man, so I ain't gonna lie. I laughed probably harder at these than the special. And I commented on this special too. And I'm feeling bad about that now, because I commented when I didn't actually see the special. You know, I just heard people talking about it. And thing is, man, see, that's my problem. You know, I just love talking shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I saw people talking about this, I just saw a whole table full of people talking shit. And I said, I got room for one more right here. Let me sit down.
Yeah.
yeah. Let me partake in some of this shit talking right here. So, thing is also, I got some scruples about myself. You know, I want my shit talking to be well informed.
Yeah. Don't just talk out your ass.
Yeah, well, I do it a lot.
I mean, that's where you shit talk, but
sometimes it comes out the other end, you know. So I had to watch this and have a well-informed opinion on it. Is this special as bad as everyone is saying? And a lot of people, I mean, it's getting anywhere from mixed reviews to bad. I don't see anything out there that's a raving review.
Yeah.
At least not anything that I've seen published.
Well, not in the lamestream media, you won't see it.
There you go. So I went ahead and watched this. Still #1 on Netflix right now. And it was only an hour long. Like I said, I wanted to be fair to old Joe right here. So I said, let me go ahead and watch this and give a fair opinion. So let's go ahead and look at this trailer, give you a little sample of Joe Rogan's Burn the Boat special, which is now currently on Netflix.
Woo! Feel that? That's some ride home arguments in the air. Jokes, folks, just jokes.
There's certainly no coming back for him. I don't know. He'll be fine.
I mean,
no.
look, he's got the #1 movie on Netflix.
Yeah.
The more y'all talk shit about it, the more you watch it.
And he's still got his podcast and everything.
Yeah.
No, Joe Rogan is fine. Gonna be announcing fights and all kind of stuff, man. Joe Rogan gonna be fine. He don't care about what y'all think. He still got his dedicated fans. But to be fair about this special, everybody talking about how bad this is. To be fair, is it that bad? To be fair, Martin, yes.
Oh, really?
No.
No,
okay.
No.
All
right. I think it could be as bad as everybody was saying.
Well,
I was like, it's probably not that bad. I might not want to watch it, but I'm sure it's not that bad.
Listen, I don't think it's as bad as everyone's saying. It's just not that memorable. Or it's memorable for not the right reasons.
No.
So listen, everyone is critical of this because they're talking about, you know, they're saying that he's homophobic.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying that he's even maybe racist. He's just ranting and raving like all these other white dudes out here. Or, you know, maybe people responding. I'm looking at this and it's like, you know, there's a lot of weird things that are going on with this before you even get to the jokes. Like, you know, you can't help but look at this and think he's lactating through the whole thing. You know, it's like, man, that's the wrong shirt. Your pecs in the wrong place. It look like you got straight up milk coming out of there.
Yeah.
I don't think that he's homophobic. I don't think that he's racist. I'll just say this. you know, like, how can I put this? He's that older uncle that's saying the same shit that all these other boomers do.
Yeah.
You know, and some of this stuff is tired already. Come on, Uncle Joe, we tired of hearing about COVID.
When you showed that clip when he's talking about COVID, I was like, oh my God, we going back that far?
People, yeah, I'll play that clip in a little bit. Uncle Joe, we got to talk about COVID again. It's been, how long it's been?
That's behind us.
Uncle Joe, we talking about pronouns again?
Oh, man, no.
What, Uncle Joe, what we doing, man? You talking about the trans people? Joe, come on. Uncle Joe, come on, be cool, man. My friends are here. You know, but he's the uncle that he's talking all that boomer shit, but the thing is he's trying. Yeah. He ain't ranting and raving against it. She's trying to understand.
Okay.
But the thing is he's doing it by telling these old jokes. And meanwhile, the young nephew and niece, they sitting there with their friends and they just like, hey, you know, hey, that's my uncle.
He was really funny when we were growing up.
And the thing is, some of it might actually be funny. Some of it might be funny, and some of it you might even agree with. But you don't want to say it because you don't want to look like an asshole like Uncle Joe right here. So, and that some of this stuff really is eye rolling, man. Let me see, because I played a clip. Let me see if I can find this. It's on the internet.
Before COVID, I would have told you that vaccines are the most important invention in human history. After COVID, I'm like, I don't think we went to the moon.
So this is where everybody's at the table. Look at Uncle Joe and talking about, oh, here we go again. On that COVID shit. Damn, Uncle Joe. Leave the COVID alone, brother. God damn, man. It's been 2 years.
Bro, Pizzagate too. Yeah, and the young nephew was friends would be like, "What's Pizzagate?"
Yeah.
I don't know, just laugh.
Damn, y'all could talk about that whole shit still? Man, I was 10 years old. I'm 16 now. You still on that shit?
You understand, when I was 4, he was the funniest guy.
Yeah, he was crazy back then.
But tell us some of those jokes. Huh.
Man.
Well, now I think about it.
You remember when you say he looked like Arthur? That shit was funny. Yeah, but he's going on with that old shit, man. And the thing is, so this special is an hour long, right? And as I said, some of it is chuckle worthy.
Yeah.
Now, none of this is actually amazing.
Yeah.
Or great. You know, and there's more of the chuckle worthy stuff than the bad stuff. But the stuff that is bad that people are criticizing, it's way more memorable.
Oh.
Because all this other stuff is kind of like, okay. You're like, you ain't going to, listen, unless you are a hardcore Joe Rogan fan, this ain't going to be one of them classic specials, okay?
Sure.
Unless you're a hardcore fan, you're going to probably forget about this in about 3 months.
Well, he did it.
Yeah. And you probably saw it and be like, it was funny, I got some laughs, but you ain't going to be, oh man, you remember what he said? Now you're going to say that when I'm like, man, you remember he said that shit about the gays? You know, that's the shit you're going to be talking about. Yeah, that was some bullshit. You know, that's what you're going to be talking about.
Yeah.
You know, but other than that, everybody's going to be forgetting about this in a couple of months. But, you know, this is my kind of humor. Because I'm not sitting up here saying, this is an hour long, people. All of this is not the stuff that you see in the clips on the internet. Okay, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
You know, there's stuff where he tells stories, man, and that's my kind of humor. Yeah. Because I was thinking like, all right, now some of the stuff he's talking about, like aliens. Oh, aliens, you know, why do they probe people? I was like, come on, man, you know, get.
I thought that was a funny thing he said about that, just like when you go fishing.
That is actually very funny.
Yeah.
He talks about something where you go fishing and the aliens get you and then they throw your ass back. You're like, what the? That's actually pretty funny, man. Let me see if I can find that, because that shit is actually very funny.
No, you just trick those dummies with fake food, and then you pull them out by their lips and take pictures of them, and you drop them back off in the water, and they're like, what the happened?
Listen, he's talking about how aliens would go and pick people like the meth addicts out and tell them all kind of weird shit, and then anal probe them and then throw them back down there and say, now tell everybody what you just heard. Let me see if that's in there, because that stuff is actually pretty funny.
No, you just trick those dummies with fake food, and then you pull them out by their lips and take pictures of them, and you drop them back off in the water, and they're like, What the just happened?
And so that's the whole joke right there. And it's actually, it's like, okay, that's amusing. It's not like, I chuckled.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, man. I know what you mean.
Right.
It wasn't anything like that.
Right.
Exact same things that aliens do to us. I think aliens look at us the same way we look at Waffle House fights.
See, you're chuckling.
Uh-huh.
Now, you ain't over there doing the classic Patton and Martin laugh. You ain't rolling over holding your stomach, with your, looking up at the ceiling with your eyes closed and tears coming out your eyes. You did exactly what I did. Yeah, that's what you did. That's kind of what I did to the whole thing.
Okay.
Now and he'll tell stories like, I like it when he just sits back and will just kind of get off the conspiracy shit or the political shit and just kind of tell a story, and again, that could be just something that appeals to me because that's my style of humor. Mm-hmm. I love hearing people tell stories and I love humor that's kind of personal.
We're weirdly connected. Like, I never leave my house without my phone. You imagine like unlocking your phone and giving it to your wife's mom? Be like, I'll be back in an hour. Like, look.
Again, you just looking at you. Now I heard you chuckle a little bit. You got a laugh out of there.
Yeah.
And I heard it was audible. But again,
but
you weren't rolled back.
It wore thin after a bit.
But you know why? Because he's yelling every joke.
Yeah. That was a thing before with his stand-up, is that he would just yell every joke. It was funny to me that he got on stage and confronted Carlos Mencia, rightly so, because he was stealing his jokes or stealing other comedians' jokes. But I was like, man, both of y'all yell too much in your stand-up.
Yeah. He's that guy, to sell a joke, he yells it at the end like this.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a way of getting applause out of people for a joke that's probably not even all that funny sometimes.
Right. Yeah, I don't like the comedians that do a lot of pantomiming and play acting.
Yeah.
Dane Cook was bad about that. Sebastian Maniscalco is bad about that. But Joe Rogan's thing was yelling.
Yeah, he yells. Now he's no Dane Cook.
Mm-hmm.
He actually has jokes.
He has jokes. Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you something, man. Even the controversial stuff, I saw a point with some of it because some people are complaining because they are not on his side of the political spectrum or what they perceive that to be, or the culture wars or whatever.
Right.
And so now maybe it's because I got some unpopular opinions that I kind of saw what he was trying to do, because people will hate me for this. Reddit, go ahead, take this one. He was talking about the N-word. Mm-hmm. Now, the way that you would read about it is like, oh, this guy, he's a white dude who just wants to say the N-word. Mm-hmm. And when he was telling about the N-word, I didn't actually take it that way. He said something like a guy just wanting to say it. He actually said what I always say. Because some people say they're just words you just don't ever say, ever. I don't care where it is, how it is. Don't ever say that word. And I'm like, well, I'm a guy who's about context.
Sure.
The only problem is people will take context and abuse it.
Mm-hmm. They'll
weaponize it too. But, I got what he was trying to say, with it. He was trying to say, putting that word in context for certain things. And then he turned it back on himself in a self-deprecating way. It wasn't like he ended it saying, am I right, people? The N-word, we should say it. I mean, lighten up. He wasn't like that. He's like, I went online and saw myself saying, I'm like, God damn, that is bad.
But then somebody made a compilation. I'm me, and I'm watching me, and I'm going, stop saying it. You're not even allowed to say it.
So he turns it around on himself in a way, and I thought, okay, that's cool. I
like the content. I don't like the delivery.
Well, that's because he's yelling all the time.
Yeah.
Like, calm your ass down, man.
I'm right here.
Jesus, that's why your nipples are lactating, because you took some cocaine back there or something.
You have a microphone. We can hear you.
Yes. He is screaming so hard, he's squeezing dairy through his nipples, man. I was like, God damn, settle down. But see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's not, I'm not too crazy about his delivery either. And some people are. It's just my style.
But I like the content because I do remember when that compilation came out.
Yes, I do too.
Yeah. So it's funny that he would get on and address it in such a way you're like, all right, I see where and how you might feel that way.
But I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be honest with you. Maybe y'all aren't laughing and y'all are ready to jump on and say that ain't funny, but I laughed at that. I did. I honestly laughed at it. When I was watching it, I laughed at it. And I don't think it's fair for people to come out and start saying, man, he just wanted to say the N-word. It's like, no, there was context to it.
Yeah.
And he was talking about putting it in context. And then he made a joke about himself. It was self-deprecating at the end. So, and I even understand when he was doing like some of the gay jokes. Now, the excerpt that they gave you, they were trying to say that he wanted to say the F word. He was just like it's the N-word. He's just a white guy that wants to say the F word. And I can see how it could offend some people. Yes. I'm one of those guys who I don't get too offended by comedy if I think that there's a point with it. And I thought he did have a point with it. His whole thing was saying, he said, everybody is, is so scared of saying the F word, or this F word is seen as such a bad thing, but we can say dyke all day. And he made a point of saying that because men have a double standard. And I've always said this. He said, men will sit up here and, and talk about other men being gay all day and make fun of men, be violent towards men, hate men for being gay. But when it comes to women, they can be gay all day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that double standard has always been there. And he makes a joke about it.
Yeah.
Now, whether you think the joke is funny or not, I kind of got a chuckle from it. Again, I'm not belly laughing, but it's not him saying, oh, I want to say the F word.
Yeah.
He did say, I miss saying the F word because I used to say it when I was younger, but it wasn't just that.
Yeah.
And I think people are kind of being unfair, taking these things out of context.
Okay. I don't think you could just throw the word dyke around, though, but
you're not going to get in trouble for saying
not
it.
as much.
Like people, he's right. You can say it, and you're not going to get canceled like you would trying to say the F word, and none of this should be taken, lightly, but that double standard is there.
Sure.
Now, the problem with this is that near the end of the special, and this is where it's, this is not a good way to kind of, end things or end close to it because he doesn't end it this way. But the problem is that near the end of this, it does feel like he's just saying words for shock value. I don't even want to play that part.
Oh, is that right?
It's not. Listen, it's not something that I'm being that sensitive about. But the only reason I'm not playing is because it does feel kind of offensive in a way. And look, and I'm not. Listen, I'm not sitting up here, clutching my invisible pearls or whatever. I'm not that offended. But it is just lazy at that point. He's just saying these words now, and he's saying these words. It feels like for some slight shock value, and he's saying it for applause too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know comedians do that?
Oh, dude, don't pander. Don't you pander to me. Yeah,
exactly. And that is what people are remembering. And I tell you why they're remembering, because unless the good stuff was amazing, and it's not, then people gonna remember the more offensive stuff, even if it wasn't there all that much. That's what they're gonna lock on to. Yeah. And so, some of it's lazy because he's just saying this for that cheap pandering applause, as you say. And he's saying things like, because you're not supposed to say this, right? But I'm gonna say it anyway. You know what I'm saying? Ooh. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
your audience can make you look bad.
Yeah. And plus, like I said, his delivery is just to yell every other joke. So yeah, people, I don't think it's as offensive as people are saying. I think things are being taken out of context, and there are some things in here that I actually thought were funny. I'm not sitting up here thinking it's trash like everybody else. Maybe this is a harsh word, but it is kind of forgettable, except for the stuff that people are complaining about, and that stuff stands out.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, and it's not even all in there that much, but man.
It's in there enough, huh?
Yeah, it's in there enough. So yeah, I don't know, man. Those are his fans. So what am I going to say? That's who he appeals to with his podcast and everything. So, maybe a lot of this just wasn't my flavor. Although some of it I thought actually was pretty clever and funny. As you said, and as I've been saying, sometimes it's just the delivery. Yeah. Because listen, a lot of comedy is just taking stuff that might not be all that funny. You might hear your friend say the same thing. You might be working with somebody that's funny and says it, but it all depends on how that comedian delivers it.
Yes. And a good comedian may come out with some strong material at first, and the rest of it is just, mid-range. But if they start you out well, you're on their side. You with them. And if they got good delivery, they can make those things funny. You're almost laughing before the punchline is delivered.
Yeah. a lot of times, I mean, there are some exceptions. So there are comedians that write some very, very clever, deep stuff. George Carlin was a master at that. But Richard Pryor was very good at that, telling his personal experiences and making them very relatable. And, especially with social and political topics. But you heard all of your friends, man. You got funny friends. And they say some of the things that these comedians say, but their delivery is just not that great.
Sure.
Or
Or not consistent.
Or they're just not a performer like these, are consistent. They're not a performer like these comedians are. And I think that's one of the biggest problems that I have with Joe Rogan is just his delivery is just not my style. It just doesn't appeal to me. But again, I think, are people being a little bit too harsh with this? Yeah, I think so. Do I understand why they are? Yeah, I kind of get it too. But it wasn't that bad for me. Like I said, I got some laughs out of it. I would even just say it's a rental, man, if I was giving this a rating.
Okay, it's where it needs to be.
It's exactly where it needs to be. And like I said, I didn't see anything on here that I'm running to you. Oh, Martin, you got to hear what he said.
So would you say the clips you showed me that you thought those were the best?
No, some other stuff in there too. But again, none of this stuff is like amazing.
Yeah.
All of it's just like, that was all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he tells the whole thing about China and how China has they have that body museum. And that, you've heard about this?
Where they slice a body?
And they also take bodies and pose them in certain ways. And he talks about like there's kind of shady ways that they get these bodies. They get them from prisons.
Yeah.
And then they also pose them forever in these ways. And he was saying, maybe they pose these people as a way of insult. You like doing that. All right, you do that shit forever.
Can you imagine some Chinese diplomat comes home and he catches the tennis instructor in bed with his wife, like, well, now you can play tennis forever.
That's screaming and hollering again. There he goes and hollering.
So here's the thing. When he says, imagine a diplomat catches his tennis instructor with his wife. He wouldn't really have to say anything else after that. Because with the setup previously, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I get it. But then the way he's acting it out and screaming, you're like, all right, you just walked me through the whole thing that I was there 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, and you don't have to scream it.
Yeah,
you don't have to scream it. And then he even made fun of himself talking about how they didn't like the accent he was making, so they put him in the museum. Again.
Well, that's funny.
Maybe if you saw the delivery, it wouldn't be, but
that's true.
But you see, there are jokes there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think that, I really don't think it's as bad as people are saying. Saw it for myself. Some of the stuff was funny. He knows how to put some jokes together. Whether you like his delivery or not, that depends on you. If you're a big fan of his, nothing's gonna stop you from doing that. But I thought it was all right, Again, I think sometimes people take things out of context, and that is what we read. And I didn't see a lot of those things like what I read before.
Sure. No, it's always better to get your information firsthand, because when you're hearing somebody else tell you what somebody else says, it goes through such a filter. Every single time.
There's a lot of I believe there's a lot of bandwagoning going on with this. So that's just me. So anyway, that's my opinion. I wanted to come in and be fair, and didn't think it was terrible. But at the same time, the stuff that was bad, come on, man. And you better than that old Joe, Uncle Joe. Come on, Uncle Joe. Be cool, man. Well, you made it to the end of the video. That must mean you really like what we do. So if you do, check out these other videos just like this one. Check out our other YouTube channels and subscribe to join our wonderful Toasty community. And as always, stay toasty.